What's going on, people? Welcome to the LV Live show. I am LV Live. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Once again, I want to thank all the new subscribers for coming by to my channel, man. It is truly, truly appreciated. Big win for them boys. Bounce back win for them boys. 116-94, beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Big game for the big cat. Karl Anthony Towns, 32 big points, 11 rebounds, and the captain, Jalen Brunson, added in 15 points and 9 assists. Total team win. Great bounce back win. This was a team effort, man. Big task. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. Listen, this is a great win tonight by the team. Great win, especially, bouncing back, coming from that long road trip. Like I said, they've been on the road trip since last Wednesday. Went 2-2, and the perfect way to bounce back Friday night Knicks by beating the Bucks, man. Great team effort, right? You just had everybody. That corner jump shot was money for Bridges. OG Anunoby was playing great defense on Giannis. He was being physical. Of course, Giannis is Giannis. You can't stop him, but he was making it difficult for him. Also, too, you had Deuce coming off the bench, doing what Deuce does. Then can't deny, or you can't just forget about Josh Hart being a Swiss Army knife, doing everything all like what he does pretty much, right? That's why I call him for Swiss Army knife. Just was a great game, man. Great game tonight. And I think watching the game and watching how the team was flowing is exactly what we expect for the team to look like. And I think that even though Brunson didn't have it going tonight, it's great to see him facilitate and identify how aggressive Towns came out and how Towns had it going. Towns was rolling tonight. Rolling. I mean, it was to the point where they had to switch. Brook Lopez just doesn't have the foot speed. Gideon, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. Big win for them boys, 116-94. Big cat, 32 big points. Brook Lopez is just a shell of himself. I mean, he's an older player now, and I believe he's 36. He doesn't have the foot speed to be able to deal with Karl Anthony Towns, right? 29 years old. He's in his prime. And then, man, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. And he just doesn't have the foot speed. And he truly, truly took advantage of that. And he came out very aggressive, very aggressive. And I think he wanted to make a statement, right? I think he hears the whispers, right? I think he hears the whole Giannis talk. You think he doesn't? I think he does. I think he does. And he wanted to make a point tonight. But he was aggressive tonight. He was aggressive. And what I love most was that Brunson was featuring him. Brunson didn't have it going tonight, but it's okay, right? I thought he played a really, really solid game all together. And Towns was the man tonight. And this is why you get him, right? Because Brunson's going to have nights like this. He is. But when you have a legit all-star, 7 feet, who's very, very hard for bigs to guard, can step out, hit that three, and it can go in the Baja and finish strong, he's tough to deal with, man. He's really, really tough to deal with. And I think in doing that, that's what makes this team so explosive offensively. Because when you forget about him, you got Bridges in the corner. You got OG Anunoby cutting to the basket, finishing strong. You still got Brunson. But then you also have Josh Hart running all over the place. So this is what we look like when we're clicking, right? And I thought tonight we didn't force anything. I thought the offense did flow, and I thought we looked cohesive. Now, we didn't shoot that well from three tonight. I'm going to bring up the stats in a minute. But I thought altogether, as a team, we took good shots, smart shots, and most importantly, guys, we played like a team. And you didn't see anybody trying to force anything. Towns had it going. That's who we were featuring. And through that, it pretty much, it was like a domino effect because then everybody else started flowing offensively. And it was just great to see. Let's bring up the stats here, guys. 1 second. Like I said, Towns had it going. Let me bring it over here really quick. Give me 1 second, people. All right, cool. All right, so as you see the stats right here, right? Tim, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. Big win for the boys, 116-94. Big cat, 32 points. Namit, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live. Now, as you see right here, right, we shot 47% from the field. Once again, back-to-back games shooting over 45% from the field. Now, we did really good on the glass tonight. You see 49 rebounds to 41. See how that flipped last game? Last game, we had 48. They had 48 to all 40, right? So tonight, we cleaned up on the glass. Then assist. We were great with passing tonight. Brunson leading the way, right? Being a great facilitator. 35 assists to their 20. And like I said, we didn't shoot well from three, only 30%. But we were taking really good threes. So I loved our shots. In free throw line, we were 16 from 19, which was fabulous. And they just did not shoot well at all, right? What was that? 15 for 23. So altogether, we just beat them in every aspect in the game. And I think also, too, most importantly, we jumped on top of them quick. Like, it wasn't like it, and that was, of course, it was all due to Towns. But I think we pretty much did not take our foot off of their necks. And that's how you got to be, like, when you're facing a team this good, right? You have to be extremely, extremely aggressive like that. You just have to be. Let's take a look at the highlights. So all in all, man, I just thought that in watching this team, and it seemed like tonight they really wanted to get this win, right? And I think they probably know deep inside, right, that they should have had those 2 wins on the road. We know the stats, right? They pretty much had the Rockets down. Excuse me, they were only down by 3 with 1:50 left, and they were up 5 with 3 minutes left in Atlanta, right? So I feel that this team knows that they let those games slip away, and they were a better team than both of those teams, and they just didn't click offensively and really basically come together as a team. But I think tonight they really, really kind of put their foot to the pedal, right? Towns was hot, man. He came out scorching. And what I loved, like I said, Brunson was featuring him. You see right there, taking it to the Baja, bang, right on that old man's head. Right. He's just a shell of himself, man. He doesn't have it anymore. And Lopez is a good player, man. He's been a good pro, man, but he's older now, man. He can't really deal with a guy like Towns. He just can't. CP, Mets and Knicks, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. Rocking with LV live tonight. Big win for the boys, 116-94. The Big Cat, 32 big points. And so when you have a big man out there like that who's 7 feet, you got to take advantage of these guys. You have to. And I thought that's what he did. But these last, since Miami, Cat's been playing really, really, really well. You saw his stats that they put up. He's been averaging pretty high, right, in the 30s. And also, too, he's shot in over 50% from the field as well as from 3. I mean, he's cooking in all aspects. And then also, too, what I think is not getting identified, guys, he's really cleaning up on the glass. A lot of rebounds he's getting. And I thought also tonight, too, a lot of guys were helping him out with those rebounds, right? So I think for me, what I'm excited about is that even if Brunson doesn't have it going, you have a guy like this that can get his, man, can get his any night. And I think that's the most important thing. And last year, Randall would have his times, he would play good, but it just didn't flow well with the offense. I thought in January we looked good, but once again, he's not the talent that Towns is. And the reason why I say the talent is because you see Towns goes out, he dominates, man. He dominates. You could see the difference in the skill set between him and Randall. And that 50-40-90 is not a fluke. It's the real thing. And one thing you can't do is you can't coach size. And at 7 feet to be 50-40-90, this is what it looks like. And you take advantage of a guy like Brook Lopez that just can't move with you. And so it forces them to pretty much put Giannis on you. And you can get him in foul trouble, then it kind of takes away. And now Brook Lopez is exposed defensively. And that just opens up the whole court. And I thought we took advantage of those mismatches. I thought aggressively, defensively, we were there. We were there in the passing lanes. I thought that was really good. And then also, too, we just fed off of the energy that Cat was giving. And that's what it looks like. That's how it should be. And that's the beauty of what I saw tonight. Also, too, man, the Deuce is loose, right? Is Deuce kind of making a early push for six man of the year? Because his numbers are great. Last game, 16 points. Tonight, 14 points off the bench for Deuce. Very, very aggressive. He's looking extremely, extremely well. That jump shot looks some money. You see it right there in the corner, right there. You just bang that right there. He's playing really, really well. Really, really well. I'm gonna pull up the stats in a minute. But he's kind of putting together a nice stat line, right? Like every night. If he's averaging anywhere between, let's say, 12 to 17 points a night, along with 5 rebounds and like 4 or 5 assists, he might be in a conversation for six man of the year this year. Big time. And that's something I think we got to kind of pay attention to. Because he's really, really playing extremely well. Extremely well. And I think the biggest thing, too, is that was the concern with the DiVincenzo piece, right? That was the big concern. But this is why they were okay with it. Initially, they didn't want to do the DiVincenzo deal. But this is why they were okay with it, because of what they saw Deuce was becoming. And Deuce looks all the part man of maybe possibly winning six man a year this year. He just does. And so now what do you do, right? Do you look for possibly another big? Do you look for another scorer off the bench? Or do you really need more so? I'm speaking of trade deadline stuff. Or do you look mainly for interior help? Because when Precious comes back and Mitch comes back, you're going to have that. Or do you look for wing depth? Because now you got a scorer coming off the bench. And this is why I told everybody, Deuce has to come off the bench. He's that scoring punch. And you need that. Because let's say someone doesn't have it going. He comes in, he knocks down 2 threes, now you're back in the game. That's what Deuce does. And I think that with him doing that, it just makes us an even more explosive offensive team. It just does. And I think that's why they were okay with making a break with the DiVincenzo deal. I think that was the reason why they were okay with doing that. Because what they knew Deuce was going to be. Hey, listen, Tip said it, man. Tip said, listen, look, this kid has been putting in a lot of work during, during the offseason, during the season. Remember, he said, listen, man, Brunson is probably the one that's in the gym more than Deuce. And he said he knew eventually it was going to come around. He knew eventually it was going to come around as far as him knocking down shots. And you're seeing it, man. Also, too, man, Tyler Kolek coming off the bench, right? 8 big points. I thought he had really, really solid minutes coming out tonight. I like the fact that the kid doesn't play. But we saw this during preseason, too. His confidence is on an all-time high. It's just hard for him to break that rotation. Because I will tell you this. When Campaign comes back, I'm still going to go with Campaign because of defensively, I like what he brings. But Kolek, man, he's playing with a lot of confidence. That jump shot looks water. He doesn't look like he's unsure. Also, too, what I loved about Kolek was, remember that one move he made when he went up for the layup? Then he switched it. Looked like a JB move. Looked like a Brunson move. He looks really, really good. But it's going to be hard for him to break through everything, man, with Campaign there. And Campaign's defensive intensity, man, you have to love. So I don't think he's going to lose minutes to Kolek because Kolek is knocking it down offensively. Tibbs doesn't value that. He knows he has guys that can score. So he's not worried about that. He's worried about the intensity that you bring on the defensive end and how you are defensively. That's what's going to get you on the court. AP, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live tonight. Great win for the boys, 116-94. The big cat, 32 big points for him. And so I think that's what's going to get Kolek on the court. Because you got to think, when Shamet comes back, if he does come back, they just got Matt Ryan, right? Those guys can shoot. So we don't really need another scoring guard. We already got Deuce. We need a facilitator and a guy that's going to defend. Now, if he can knock down the 3, that's cool, but so can Campaign. So, and I'm not saying, he's not going to be a better player than Campaign, but if he wants to get on the court, man, that's how he's going to be able to get on the court. He's got to be defensive. He's that the defense is what's going to get him over the hump. Period. Let's take a look, man. Let's listen to what Tibbs has to say.
I thought the start of the game was important for us. I thought we played with a really good pace. I thought guys, were looking for each other. I thought they saw the floor really well. And when you have vision of everyone and you can recognize things, I think you end up getting a good rhythm from that. I liked how we played. I thought we shared the ball. We made plays. We got people open. We screened well. We did a lot of little things. And then I thought OG and Mikhail really helped set the tone for us defensively with tough matchups, and Josh as well. And I think that's important. I thought Jalen played a great floor game, and I think that was important. I thought our bench came in and did a good job as well. And it's a good, solid win. It's improvement, and that's what we're shooting for every day. Just keep getting better.
That's Tibbs. That's Tibbs breaking it down, man. And hey, listen, like he said, Bridges and then OG Anunoby set the tone. But isn't that why you brought those guys here? Isn't that why you brought them here? And I know, listen, you're going to have tough nights in this league, right? So these last two games, they didn't look right. And I get it. I understand that. But this is why you brought those guys here, man. This is why. Like Tibbs stated, this is why you brought those guys here. This is why. And I think that, when things like that, when you hear the coach say those things, he tells you how much he values those guys. And that's what he values. He values defense. He always has. And I think that when you have those guys on the wings like that, are interchangeable. Also, too, Josh Hart, too, I thought played great defensively. When they're clicking, they are the best in the league, those two together, defensively on the wing. And so, you're going to have a couple of games where, you're going to have some outliers, right? Where you may not play well defensively, but all in all, those guys are legit. What I loved what Josh Hart was doing tonight, because you remember OG Anunoby got in foul trouble with Giannis. What Josh Hart was doing, which is extremely smart, how you got to play Giannis, you got to back up off him. And when Josh Hart was playing him, I was screaming at the television, back up, back up, back up. Let him shoot. That's his kryptonite. A couple of times he'll knock down some jumpers, but that's not what he wants to do. He wants to back down and play bully ball and get to the rack. He wants to stay far away from shooting a jump shot. And so what I love Josh Hart was doing is that when he saw OG Anunoby got in some foul trouble, he did a switch. And he did a switch. Gravity, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live, 116.94. Big win for the boys. Big Cat. 32 big points for him. And so Josh Hart took on the assignment of guarding Giannis. And what he did is he backed up on him. And I think that's perfect. That's how you got to do. But that's someone who pays attention to guys' skill sets. And I scream that all the time. You got to identify who does what well, who does what bad. Like, you got to know this stuff. It's called scouting, right? You got to be able to identify your opponent. So when like, okay, listen, all this guy wants to do is go downhill, back up on him. Let him have that. Let him have that three. It's very rare he makes it. He might make it here and there, but you'll live and die with that. But what you don't want is you don't want him going downhill. That's when he starts to dominate. That's when he starts getting guys in foul trouble. And once you do that, it just changes the ball game. It just does. Let's take a look at the stats here, man. Okay. All right, the Big Cat. 32 big points tonight for him. Huge. I mean, this is like this is getting to the point now, man, where he's putting up big time numbers, man. Big time numbers. Shooting extremely well from the field. He's shooting over 50% from three, 50% from the field. I think he's like not 50, 40, 90. I think he's like 50, 50, 90 right now. 32 big points, 11 rebounds. But look at that. 6 assists, man. 6 assists to go along with. They could have had a triple-double tonight. And 12 for 20 from the field. Very, Very, very efficient, man. Very efficient. And so when you're just looking at how he's playing, he's not taking any bad shots. He's constantly moving. When he gets the ball, he's attacking. He makes quick decisions. It's not a matter like the issue with Randall and with difference between him and Randall, is that Randall takes the air out of the ball. Great player, but takes the air out of the ball. This guy makes quick decisions, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's going to the rack strong, or if not, he's putting up for three, or if not, you get him in the post. He's hitting that little baby hook. He's getting to the free throw line. I mean, this is what he's doing. That's why right now, honestly, he's probably top 5 in the league as far as efficiency right now offensively. I mean, those numbers are off the charts, on that 4-game road trip. Now, I'm not saying he's going to keep it going for the rest of the year, but he's playing extremely, extremely, extremely efficient, man. And he's leading the charge for us because you see Brunson is kind of like a roller coaster right now offensively, which is fine because we know he's going to get rolling. But the big cat has just been extremely, extremely efficient. That is the captain right there, right? 15 points, 9 assists, 1 steal, shot, what was it there? I can't see that. 5 for 14, 6 for 14. I think it's 5 for 14, I'm sorry. 6 for 14. 6 for 14 from the field. Of course, people are going to say, Brunson didn't shoot well and all these other things, right? Because, but all this complaining needs to stop right about him being a ball hog. He showed tonight, right, what he could do. He showed tonight that when he wants to facilitate, he can. But then also, too, it's a matter of him building trust with these guys and trusting in these guys. I told you guys, it's going to take him time, man. He was the guy last year, the guy. Yes, he had guys, pieces around him, but not nobody fully trusts. So a lot of times Brunson had to put it on his shoulders and carry this team. Now he has a guy who's extremely efficient and cat. He's got to feed off of that. He is the captain of the team. Let's not take that away from him. See, at the end of the game, right? He walked by, rubbed Cat's hand. You know what I'm saying? Rub Cat's head. Excuse me. In the hood, we say he summed him. The Cat was like, "Yo, that's the Cap." So the respect is there. They know who Brunson is, man. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the team. Tibbs has said it. It's all about the team. And Brunson showed tonight, listen, he can facilitate. A couple of times when he was driving to the rack, guys were closing in on him. He hit Deuce in the corner, bang, bang, a 3 from the corner. See, that's what's going to open things up. And I just thought Brunson played really, really well tonight. He didn't have it going offensively, a Brunson type of offensive night. But if this is anybody else's numbers, people will be happy. They'll be like, "Oh, he played great." But because it's Brunson, you're expecting 28, 29 points, 7 assists, right? That's what you're expecting. But when you got guys around you that can light it up offensively, Bridges, Towns, of course, OG Anunoby's got to get his. Of course, Josh Hart. You're going to have nights where you're going to go 15 points, 6 for 14 from the field, 9 assists. You're going to have nights like this. But as long as you're putting up the W, it doesn't matter. This is back-to-back games now. The Knicks have scored 116 points and shot over 45% from the field. You got to respect it, man. Typical Josh Hart night. Right? 11 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 4 for 5 from the field. Josh Hart night, man. Now, collectively, he is starting to have a really, really, really impressive season so far. This is like game 2 or 3 where he's almost had a triple-double. Because I believe last game he was 14, 8, and 8 in the loss. Tonight, look, he's 11, 9, and 7, man. He's doing it all. Oh, and a steal. But he's playing efficient. And like I mentioned, look at the defense that he played on Giannis. Giannis is going to get his, but being smart and backing off of Giannis and forcing him to shoot that jump shot. And then also, too, if you see your player in OG Anunoby is getting in foul trouble, you can come in and help that out. And kind of watch him and say, okay, listen, you go over there, let me take him because I know how to guard him. And then that starts to kind of defensively, you're able to do the things that you want to do defensively and not really lose much. But this is why he's starting. You see those numbers? That is why. 11, 9, and 7. I mean, that's beautiful numbers, man. Beautiful from a guy who's not there for his offense, but there for all the little intangibles. So you got to love what he's doing. I thought OG Anunoby was great tonight. Once again, same thing, right? Look at his numbers, right? He's got 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 4 from 12 from the field. His defense on Giannis, I thought, was great because he's got the speed, he's got the physicality, he has all those things to match up with Giannis. And I think in to Tibbs's point, him and Bridges set the tone defensively. They made it tough for Giannis, even though Giannis is going to get his. We know that. But still, having a guy like OG Anunoby out there defensively changes everything. It truly, truly does. And look at the numbers, man. Once again, a very efficient night. 14, 6, 5, 2 steals, 4 for 12 from the field. Efficient. Now, though, Bridges had another great night. 17 big points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 for 10 from the field. But it feels like he played better than that. It feels like he had like 21 points the way he was shooting. That corner 3 is money for him. Money. And that little fadeaway jump shot that he does in the corner, money as well. And so when you look at the team, look at how we're playing, look at how efficiently everybody is. And I believe, what is this? Is this the 6th game or 7th game? 6th or 7th game that all 5 starters have scored in double figures. I mean, altogether, man, you just have to love what you're seeing. You have to. I mean, everybody is clicking. And even the games that we lost offensively, I thought we were clicking. It's just on the defensive side of the ball, we kind of had to tighten up. But all in all, I thought that we played great. In those games. I mean, of course, things have to get better, like, certain things defensively, but I never felt that offense was the problem. It was defense. And today, defensive intensity picked up. They played really, really well. Yes, the Bucks aren't good, but once again, to me, it doesn't matter. It's still an NBA team. And we got to get victories however we can. We're 4-4 right now. But tonight was led by the defense and by him and OG Anunoby on those wings. Now, that corner jump shot is money for him. Money. Secretly and quietly, this guy's starting to put up $6 million a year numbers. Deuce was 14 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, no steals, but 5 from 11 from the field. Extremely efficient night, just like the other night in ATL. Very efficient night. He's like really starting to turn the corner, like with his game. Big time. And what I'm loving about his game is the confidence is through the roof. Every time he pulls it, you think it's going in because he's playing with extreme confidence. And the defense intensity is still there with Deuce, which we love. One thing he's got to get better with is kind of going to the rack and finishing, right? It's like when he starts dribbling, tries to go to the rack, he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's got to kind of get better with that, but that'll come with time. But I think what he's done is he's honed his skills around what he knows the team is going to need. So he knows the team is going to need shooting. So it's like, all right, let me tighten up my jump shot because I know when they swing it, I got to be ready to knock it down. And his game is getting better and better each game. He had that one bad game. I think it was in with Houston, right? He didn't play well. But all in all, for this season, he's been playing extremely well. Well, go on, man. What's going on? I appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. 116-94. Big time win for them boys. The Big Cat. 32 big points. But all in all, great night, man. Great night all together. Just a great team win. Great team win. You have to be extremely, extremely happy with the way this team bounced back. Long road trip. Everyone was panicking. I told everybody to relax, chill out. They had a road trip, They went 2-2, man. They went 2-2 on a road trip. It's not like they got blown out during the road trip. They went 2-2. So you got to be happy with those results. So they come back and get a win like they should win, right? Against a team like this that's not playing well and you're taking advantage of them. Also, too, they're on a back-to-back. So this is what you do to teams like that. And I thought the Knicks did that, man. And it's just, I think this is a great bounce-back win for these last couple of games where we felt games that they should have won that they did not win. But this is how you bounce back, the way they played tonight. And I think they showed it on the defensive end, and that's really kind of like what got their offense started, spearheaded by the Big Cat. All right, let's go in here and chat, man. I see a lot of people coming through, a lot of people chatting it up, man. I appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with LV Live on this Friday night Knicks. So let's go on. CP. Now, those are the Knicks I like. Yes, sir. Agreed. Tim says, we did what we're supposed to do. Forget about those last two losses. The last two losses, right? But get back home and handle our business. Agreed, sir. Agreed. Listen, I just said that. And I think that's what matters, man. That's what matters. How are you able to bounce back after, this kind of losses that they feel like they shouldn't have lost to, right? Let's be honest. They shouldn't have lost to Atlanta. They definitely shouldn't have lost to the Rockets. So, so you had to kind of pick yourself up and say, okay, that happened. Let's get back rolling. And I thought the Knicks did that. And to me, when this shows like the character of the team, because a lot of teams folded up and they kind of lean on like, this, oh, we didn't play bad. We didn't play good. We played bad. And, you kind of let that linger and carry over into other games. And I thought tonight the Knicks kind of flexed their muscle and said, okay, no, we're going to play better tonight. And once again, spearheaded by the Big Cat. Tim says, Cat set the tone from the start. That's when we need from him. And this team will have to stop playing from behind. Agreed. Yeah, get out to a fast start, man. Get out to a fast start. I think that's really, really important to do that. I think also, too, starting having a quick start to a game, it really puts you in rhythm, right? And then you kind of have a team on their heels. And I think in doing that kind of gets everybody else motivated. And through that, then everybody starts knocking down shots. Everybody starts playing better defensively. You start rebounding better. So everything starts clicking. And then you pretty much have the away team on their heels. And through that, you just do what you did tonight. Tim says, if Deuce continue playing the way he's playing, he can win the sixth man this year. Agreed. That's what I just started talking about, man. Agreed. And listen, and also, too, he's pretty efficient, too, man. Also, too, you see, he's like grabbing rebounds, too. Last game, I believe he had 6 boards, and he had 5 tonight. So he's getting on the glass. He's getting rebounds. Deuce defensively, he's going to be there, right? He's going to get a couple of steals here and there, deflections, right? Those are, the things that he's really great at. But if he's hitting the glass, too, he's getting rebounds. He's being extremely, extremely efficient. And, and things like this is what I think Tyler Kolek should be paying attention to. And Deuce did it when he spoke to Acapulco. That time you saw the big feed that everybody was circulating about Deuce talking to him, while pretty much they was on and said, telling Acapulco, you pay attention to these minutes. These minutes are very important. Doesn't matter how big, how small, this is how you build your trust, right? This is what he told Acapulco. Tyler Kolek needs to kind of take a page from that too, because if you want to get on the court, man, you're going to have to do those things. You're going to have to rebound, get deflections, get steals. That's what Tibbs wants. He knows offensively you're gifted, but he wants to know if you're willing to kind of do all those little things to basically get us in or show him that you're willing to do it all you can to stay on the court. And in this league, for a guy like Tibbs, what's going to get you on the court is defense. AP, this is exactly what we needed. Agreed. Also, too, AP, getting a win like this, blowing out a team like this, that's, we already know that the Bucks are struggling, but they are still a good team. When Middleton comes back, they're going to be a lot better. I think winning the way they did tonight is a great confidence booster. And this is what you need, because when you're kind of getting through the regular schedule of the league, the wear and tear on your body, the traveling, all that stuff, sometimes you kind of fall into a rut or fall into a slump, as you say in baseball, right? And you kind of lose your fastball. And I think the Knicks kind of lost that these last two games. And tonight they got their fastball back. And they were ready to lock in and do the things that they needed to do. And then through that, they were able to get, like you said, AP, exactly what we needed and get a big win, a blowout win tonight. And one of your star player, one of your star players has a big night. Big task. Tyler Kolek will have his time next season. Cam Payne has only 1 year on his contract. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Big Task, because I like Kolek, man, but he just came into the league. And what he doesn't have, Cam Payne gives us, and that's defensive intensity. We have enough scorers. We have enough guys that could fill it up offensively. But what we need is kind of like a pest to come off the bench. I don't mean to say it that way, but a guy that's active, gets in the passing lanes, can be annoying, right, to guys bringing the ball up, can also knock down the three when needed. Cam Payne can do that. Also, to hit that little floater like he does, but just get after it defensively. That's one thing Cam Payne does. And he, and I heard Cam Payne say this too. He said one thing you can't coach and one thing that you can't put on a stat sheet is energy and being active. You can't put that, that's something that you just should have all the time. And I think that's what he brings. He brings the energy, he brings intensity coming off the bench. He's guarding baseline to baseline. And those are the things that Tibbs loves. He loves stuff like that. And that's what Deuce was doing, before he started knocking down shots. He was like that defensively. And so I think for the backup point guard right now, that's what you need more than a guy like Kolek that can kind of knock down and do, pick and roll stuff. That's cool, but you really need a guy that's going to defend, man, and be a nuisance defensively. APAP. But is this a real thing? The Cavs are 10-0. Could they really be the NBA champs? No, man. I'm not. Come on, man. I saw a game tonight. I don't know if they won. Boston was losing tonight to Brooklyn. Right? So listen, the Knicks should have beat the Cavs that night. I'm not worried about the Cavs. I'm just not. They're catching certain teams kind of, and they're playing well, man. You got to give it to them. They're playing well. But do you trust the Cavs come playoff time? Do you trust the Cavs? I don't. I think they're going to fold up. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs lost in the first round. I just wouldn't be. So 10-0 is kind of like a fluke, man. I don't really believe that. I don't trust that. Tim said Brunson made sure he fed his cat tonight. You know what, Tim? I have to agree with you on that, and I think he started to understand exactly what the skill set that Cat has. And I think that I said it. It's going to take time, and he's realizing the skill. He's realizing how good Cat is, and for what Brunson wants to do, he's better than Randall for this offense. He is. Because it's all about the matchups, right? Because Randall would have had to go against Giannis and a lot of other power forwards. I told you, there's no center out there at 7 feet that can handle Cat, man. You saw what he did to Brook Lopez. You saw what he did to Bam, right? You see what he's doing, right? He was getting busy on Clint Capella. Come on. So we saw what Cat. We're seeing it. So it's all about the matchups. That's what it is. And there's nobody out there that could check Towns, man. And so, if that's what's going on, as we say, feed the big cat. Let him eat. Let him feast. And through that, I think the Knicks will be fine. Tim says OG played a good game tonight, especially against Giannis. He's showing the league why we paid him the money he got. Listen, man, I told you he's expensive. See, things like this that he does that doesn't go in a stat sheet, Tim. And you're 1,000% right. This is why he's getting what he's getting. He can guard all 5 positions. And here's the thing with him. We're not asking him to stop guys. Just make it difficult for them. Knock down corner threes like he does. And finish strong at the rack. You saw him going to the rack on Taurean Prince. He tried to stop him. He bullied him and banged it on his head with 2 hands. He's big. He's strong. He's fast. He's the total wing, man. He's 6'8". There's nobody out there like him in the NBA. And also, too, he does not need the ball to be effective. He doesn't. That's why he's so expensive. What you saw tonight is why he's so expensive. OG's game reminds me of Kawhi a little bit, especially on the defensive end. Again, he's like I said it before and I said it last year, right? He's like a poor man's Kawhi. He's a little bit bigger than Kawhi Leonard, if I'm correct. I think Kawhi Leonard is 6'7", or is he 6'8"? Right? He's got of course a better offensive game than Cat. And when he was in his prime, he was different, right? Kawhi Leonard was different. But OG Anunoby is very similar. They play very similar. And remember, he was in Toronto for that short time. So, OG Anunoby probably stole a couple of things from him. But he's a really, really good player, man. Really, really good player. He does it all. And the most important thing about OG Anunoby is he doesn't need the ball in his hand to be effective, man. And that's just great to see when you're trying to really kind of build a team and do all the great things with your team, right? Trying to find guys that fit. He does it all. So he fits in seamlessly. That's why we played so well. We went 14-2 last January because of him. He just fits in like a glove. And so now it's just a matter of us molding this team and adjusting together. And I think what we saw 14-2 last January, I think you're going to see something better than that. AP says, I do want to see if the Knicks start beating good teams, especially can't believe the Cavaliers are 10-0. Yeah, man. Once again, we should have beat them that night. Just, Brunson had an off night. We weren't really feeding Cat the way we should have. But we should have beat them that night. We should have. So I'm not really too worried about the Cavs. I'm just not. Let's go down. A lot of people make. All right, okay, let me see what Guan said. What Guan says, LV, silly question, but who would you rather have for this team, Towns or Giannis? Well, Guan, I did a short on this. If you can go to my page or check out the short I did. But yeah, check out that short, man. It's all about the big cat. Knicks 100 GM, man. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live tonight. Big win for the boys, 116-94. Tim says, people fail to realize we have a whole new team. It's going to take some time to build the chemistry. Once they get comfortable really playing well with one another, the league is going to be in trouble. Agreed. I said this last show. When everybody's panicking, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, the Knicks stink," and everybody's so hyperbolic, man. They just everything is like, if it's not happening now, it's never going to happen. Like, once again, they, like you said, Tim, they just came together right before preseason. They made this deal. So it takes time to get adjusted. Just a lot of different things. Cat's coming straight from Minnesota, like all the different things that come with it. They talked about it tonight. I don't know if you guys caught it. Did you guys catch when they were talking about it tonight? Excuse me, with Dame Lillard, and when they spoke about him coming over to Milwaukee last year, and how that impacted certain things, and how that happened like right during the like it was like the not the trade deadline, but it was like right before the season started, and it kind of threw him off a bit, like just when the deal was made, and he wasn't really able to build a camaraderie with Giannis, and that's why it was tough. They're still kind of having a hard time. I think they're really having a hard time, believe it or not, because Middleton's not here. That's their other big piece. So it's basically like a two-man show. They have a bunch of. That's because of all the bread they got to pay, but they basically don't have a team. Like, you see who's out there, man. So Brook Lopez needs to come off the bench. Like, he's a good backup center. He should not be starting. He's just too old, man. But it takes time, man. It takes time, Tim. You're 1,000% right. It takes time, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. They just want it to happen and just say, okay, cool. Let's just play and go out there and poof, let's win a championship now. It is. And I say poof because it's like a magic show, right? Like, okay, here we are, win a championship. It doesn't go like that, man. It doesn't go like that. You got to have time to really build the chemistry. You got to build that camaraderie, man. You have to. You got to understand, guys' strengths and weaknesses. This is like a totally new, different team, man. Cat and Bridges changes everything for this team. So guys like Brunson, of course, him being the captain and him being at the top of the food chain, the top dog, he's going to have to adjust the most because he's so used to just it being all him. But now you got Bridges that can knock down shots in the corner. Now you got Towns that can get his. So now that takes a weight off of Brunson's shoulders, which is great. But that's still an adjustment period for a guy like him. So let the adjustments happen. Let's be patient, man. Let it bake. AP said the Nets lost. Yeah, man. That's some. Yeah, man. But still, but AP. My point is that you saw like they were beating Boston. That doesn't mean that the Nets are this or that. You know what I mean? AP. I'm assuming you're talking about the Cavs, right? They've always been a regular season team. Yeah, agree, man. I'm not worried about them. You know who I think is dangerous in the East? Orlando. Orlando is dangerous. Now, of course, what is it? Paolo, right? Paolo, right? I'm trying to pronounce his name. Paolo's done. I mean, not for the season, but I don't mean to say done. Excuse me. He's out for a while. Let me say that. I apologize. So it's going to take, they're going to kind of have to hold down a fort until he's able to come back around. But they're dangerous, man. They're dangerous. They're just the matchups. It's all about that. They got too many. It's like everybody on their team is 6'10". Everybody. So they're going to be a lot to deal with. I mean, they don't know how to win yet, but still, they're going to be tough. They're going to be very, very tough to beat. Just because of, just because of the height and the length, and they got skilled players, man. Because who's the one guy? I like him, man. Who's the one guy? Jonathan Isaacs, right? I think that's his name. He comes off the bench. He's like 6'10", 6'11". But he's a great player coming off the bench. If the Knicks had him, I'll be extremely happy, man, because he defends, he blocks shots, he can guard all 5 positions, being that big. I think they're going to be really, really tough, man. Really, really tough. Simpson's Cat is a beast. He's getting comfortable with this team. He's definitely playing like an all-star so far. Agreed, man. Agreed. I mean, he's playing like an all-star in Minnesota. But I'm not surprised at what he's doing, man, because this offense fits him perfectly, man. It was valid, but it just took Brunson time to adjust. Because that's the key to all of this, man, is him. We already know what Brunson can do. We already know that. But he's going to have to adjust to Cat. because he's the point guard. He's the one running the show. He's the captain. So you got to make sure he's getting touches, especially when he's cooking and he has a mismatch like this, which is going to be a lot of nights, because not too many bigs can guard him and deal with him, what he has, his arsenal. There's not too many people that can deal with that. So if you see he's got a mismatch, which is going to be most nights, you got to feed him. You got to let him feast. Let the big cat feast. There we go. You got to let that happen, man. And then Brunson, do you, man. Do you. Do what you do. And then that's it, man. This is easy. It's not hard. I said it on my show last time. Listen, what they got to fix is how they close out games when it gets tight. They got to know what they need to go to for winning time. And it's got to be Cat and Brunson at the top of the key doing that two-man game. That's it. It's not hard, man. It's not hard. That's why those two guys are there. Everybody stand, get out the way. OG Anunoby and Bridges go in the corners. Sit there and wait. And let Josh Hart be Josh Hart and let him roam. And when a loose ball flies off, then you go get it. But that's what it should be when it's winning time. 3 minutes left. Let's say the Knicks are up by 2 or 3 or 5 like it was the other night. That's what we got to do. Get Cat in the post or feed him at the top of the key. Two-man game, him and Brunson. That's it. Tim says, I'm good on Giannis and Cat. Is way better for this team, and New York Cat is way better shooter than Giannis. Something Giannis lacks. Agreed, man. Agreed. Listen, Giannis is a great player, man. He's really good. Let's not try to act like, but he can't shoot, man. He can't shoot. He cannot. So that pop out big stuff, that would not work with him because he clogs up the lane, and that's where Brunson does his work at, in the lane. 15-footer. I mean, of course, we know Brunson can knock down a 3 with no problem, but that's where Brunson gets busy. But you can't have Giannis down there. He's going to be like Randall, but even worse because Randall will shoot better than Giannis. AP said the Nets are not bad. Yeah, I mean they're all right. I mean, I'm not. Are the Knicks worried about the Nets this year? No, I'm not. There's no need to worry about them. Now, like any other team in the league, you got to take them seriously, which I know the Knicks will do. They're not going to feel like, oh, this is an easy win. But you got to take care of business, man. Take care of business. Don't play no games with them. Treat them how you treated Detroit. Tim says, I'm good on Giannis, man. Cat is a better shooter than Giannis. Something he lacks. Agreed. AP says, Brunson, I had a problem with his 3 tonight. Yeah, he was off, man. I mean, it happens. It happens. I'm not too worried about that, man. Come on, man. He's already proven who he is. So I'm not even worried about, him having an off night. I thought he played really, really well tonight. His shot wasn't falling cool, but he was feeding his guys, man. He was finding Bridges in the corner, finding Cat with the pick and pop. Then he found Deuce in the corner for a couple of threes. So I thought altogether he had an extremely efficient game. Coach, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. Big win for the boys, 116-94. The Big Cat. 32 big points. Big time win for the Knicks. AP says, how do you feel about the Knicks 3-point defense overall? It's got to get better. It's all about rotation and understanding that when you drop, right, and you drop coverages, you got to kind of figure out, you got to watch who the shooters are. You got to watch them corners. And that's where Bridges and OG Anunoby have to kind of take care of. So I think that's where they have to get better with. But defensively, I thought they played really well tonight. Once again, it's all an adjustment period. So I'm not worried about it. But defensively, I said it on my last show, that's where they have to kind of tighten up. And I thought tonight was a step in the right direction. Tim says, I was just getting ready to say Giannis will clog up the lane with Randall all the talk about Giannis coming here. Nah, we good. Agreed. Agreed. I mean, Giannis is a great player, man. Like, I'm not knocking that. I really, I think he's extremely good, man. I mean, we know this already, man. I don't have to give the guy his props. We already know that, but he doesn't fit well for what it is we want to do, especially for the player that we have in Brunson. We're pretty much everything, all chips are in, and we're building around him. That's why they got Cat, because they need a stretch five for Brunson. And here's the thing, guys. I told you before, Brunson's still warming up, man. He hasn't started being Brunson yet. When he starts being Brunson, the league better watch out. Don't get caught slipping with him. And I'm hearing a lot of people like talking, and Brunson's a poor hog. This just talking crazy about him. Like, it's 8 games in. We ain't even hit 20, 25 games, and people are already talking bad about Brunson. Season just started, man. AP says Melo was in the building, right? Knicks should give him and Stephon Marbury jobs in the organization. I believe Jamal Crawford is supposed to be working for them this year. Yeah, that'd be cool. BQ from BK, man. I appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight and my crew. Big win for them boys, 116-94. Big time bounce back win. Huge. The Big Cat, 32 big points. Brooklyn Knick fan, man. Appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live tonight. Big win for them boys, 116-94. Big Cat, 32 big points. Coach says, I think Brunson should take his time, right, with this team. He doesn't have to be the number one option, even if it's his team. Agreed. I can see your point. I can see your point in that. And I think tonight was a first step in that, in him taking his time. But Coach, man, he's still got to be Brunson, man. That's what's going to put us over the top. Yes, you let him take his time, but you don't want him to take anything away from his aggression. Him being Brunson, man. You have to let that happen. Like you have to let that happen, Coach. You can't take that away just because Cat's here. Yes, feed Cat. Let Cat be Cat. But you want Brunson to be Brunson because you're going to need him. You're going to need him in big moments. You're going to need him in big moments. And he has proven that there's nobody more cold-blooded than him, man. So you just let him get it together. It's only 8 games in, but you got to let him be him, man. Don't tell him to kind of take a step back for Cat. We don't want that at all. We want him to be him. Because that's why everyone's talking about the Knicks being what they are, what they're supposed to be this year. Not just because of Cat and Bridges, yes, but because of what Brunson was last year. And if he can be that, with the addition of Cat and Bridges, watch out. So let him get his legs right. Let him get everything together. Remember, too, guys, I think we're all forgetting about this. Didn't Brunson break his hand? Isn't he coming back from that? So maybe that's why offensively at times he seems off. He's coming back from that. Also, too, remember, guys, last year he used to have his hand taped? His hand's not taped anymore. People are like, oh, LV, that sounds crazy. Listen, man, he's coming back from injury. It's only 8 games in. He's not shooting his best, but he's playing efficient. The team is 4-4. We're not 1-8. We're playing really well at times. We can get better. He's had up and down moments. He's coming off of breaking his hand. Guys, give him time. Give him time. Coach says Nash was the number one option. 2 different players, man. 2 different players, Coach. Two different players, man. 2 different players. Nash was nice, man. We already know Steve Nash was nasty with it, but he could not score the way Brunson can score. They're two different players, and he couldn't pass like Nash. Right? So, we need Brunson to be Brunson, though, man. We don't want that to stop. AP, LV, man, I like your show, man. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the support, man. I do this for y'all, man. I do this for y'all. Coach says, I know he has to score. Yeah, he's got to score. Like, we ain't playing around with that. We do not want him to lose any of that luster, man. What made him last year? That's why everyone's talking about the Knicks. Because of that guy, man. And his ascension. Brooklyn Knicks fans said, Butcher just had a kid off the court, man. Stuff can. Yo, listen, man. Anybody out there that's a parent, man. Yo, man, you know. He said the kids keeping him up at night, man. That's what it is, right? Yeah, man. It's an adjustment. Definitely is. Tim said Brunson said in his post game he's still trying to adapt to this team and build chemistry. Once he builds the trust in his team, they're going to be a problem. Agreed, man. Agreed. Well said, sir. Salute to Tim on that. Well said, man. And you gotta listen to what Brunson's saying, man. They're still trying to build that. Mikel's got to step it up. Listen, man, he played well tonight. 17 points. That corner jump shot with him is money. It's money. He get rolling with that. He's going to be tough to deal with. Brooklyn Knicks fan, Bucks are our old team. I expected to win. Yeah, man. I mean, old team, young team, you can't expect wins in this league. But a win is a win. I'll take it however. But, you never go into a team, taking them lightly. So regardless, old or not, this is what you do with a team like that. You take care of business. Cat's always giving Brooke Lopez the business. Yeah, man. Yeah, Brooke is getting old, man. AP, Mikal Bridges is not coming here as the star. He's coming here in a supporting role. This show is Brunson's co-starring Cat. Agreed. He's not coming here to be the star. Agreed. But AP, it still takes an adjustment for Brunson because he's got to make sure he gets some shots for Bridges because Bridges is that good offensively. So you got to make sure he's knocking this corner jump shot down, cutting to the basket. You got to make sure. So for Brunson, he's got to get a lot of guys involved. And that wasn't the case last year. Now, Randall had his moments. Like, not to say that Randall was gone the whole year. We know that. But Randall's a different player than these guys. OG Anunoby's a different player than Bridges. So, once again, this is a totally new team with totally new options. It takes a lot to adjust to for a guy like Brunson. Tim says Mikel is still trying to find his game, and it seems like he's starting to come around. Agreed. He's playing well, man. He's playing well. I think he's finding his spots, knowing exactly where he needs to attack. But I think he's playing well, playing very efficient. I think defensively, he's taking on the toughest defensive assignment every night. Him and OG Anunoby, of course, going back and forth with that. Him being on Dame Dollar, and of course, OG Anunoby being on Giannis. So I thought tonight, both of those guys defensively, as Tibbs stated, set the tone. AP says, Cat looks like he looks like meth. Yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny. All right, listen, guys, but check it out. Listen, man, that's my show. I'm LV Live. Listen, I appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with me tonight. Trust me when I tell you it's truly, truly appreciated. I do it for y'all. I appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with me, man. It's truly, truly appreciative, man. Trust me when I tell you that. But listen, if it's your first time coming through, or you're watching this on replay, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Hit that like button, people. Also, too, please subscribe. Like I said, if it's your first time coming through. And also, too, please leave comments because I do respond to comments. All right, I'll be back Sunday night to go over the Pacers game. Sunday night, right? Or they play in the afternoon. I forget, whatever time they do play. I'll be on right after, so please come through and check that out. All right, but once again, I appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with me tonight. Big win for the boys, 116-94. Big Cat, 32 big points. Great win for the Knicks, 4-4. All right, that's my show, and I'm LV Live, and I'm out of here, people.